am standing on the sunny shores of the South Saskatchewan River, and today we have a treat for you. We're going fossil hunting. There's a really cool group of kids, the Dino Hunters, and they're going to show us one of their secret spots that they've discovered where they have found fossils before. So we're going to get out some hammers, we're going to smash some rocks, and we are going to find some fossils today. It's very exciting. I'm super pumped to share it with you. And we will also have our regular crew weigh in with some bit of fossil and discovery and archaeological digging of their own. So stay tuned. It's gonna be a digging great time. I'm here with John, and you are the founder of the Dino Hunters Fossil Crew. What's the official handle?
The official handle is the Dino Hunters, and yeah, it was my daughter that started it, and we just sort of spread it from there. So I just sort of amplified it a lot.
Now, you've been doing this a couple years now, and you found some miraculous pieces that are now in the Saskatchewan Museum. What was the first exciting thing that you guys discovered?
The first exciting thing we found ended up being some baculites, which are a long cone-shaped fossil creature. And yeah, we were one day just hanging out at the beach and smashing some rocks, and Lily pointed to one and I smashed that one, Dad, and so I broke it open, and then next thing you know, it's all these phosphorescent colors and shining out, and what in the heck is that? And we got a hold of the university and we found out we made our first discovery.
That's awesome. And since then, you've brought on board lots of kids, friends, family, and then just kids who are interested in fossils. What do you hope to see the group grow into?
It's already growing into, you know, sort of the dream right now. Just my passion is just seeing kids getting out there, exploring. It's honestly like modern day treasure hunting. Like I'm not a fan of seeing, you know, lots of kids on devices and this, that. It's like getting out there, adventuring, get to the outdoors, explore, and find something nobody else has ever found before. And it just brings the imagination back into things and what you're going to find next.
Awesome. So if somebody decided that they wanted to do this, because I think they'll be inspired by what they see today, the kids found some amazing stuff. Like, what are kind of the rules and regulations that go along with hunting for fossils?
Well, the first thing you have to do is, what we did was we got a hold of the Royal Saskatchewan Museum. Dr. Ryan McKellar is the head paleontologist there, and you first have to get a permit, and what that includes is what you want to do, where you want to go, and how you're going to approach it, and then afterwards with the cleanup as well, so that we're following, it's called the Heritage Property Act, with making sure that the fossils are kept track of, and not only that, but making sure that we're being responsible about our collecting, which means things like cleaning up after and just being responsible in general, and collecting for the purpose of everybody in research for the museum and others that are doing research for the area. Well, this used to be called the Bear Paw Formation, so that's what we're looking for species off of that formation.
Okay, so what are you allowed to keep and what are you not allowed to keep?
Well, we have to ask first, as far as everything is actually owned by the museum, but there has been some species that are really more, we find so much of some species that they don't have a reason for collecting it for the museum, so we get the disposition paperwork after they've cleared everything, and then you know, we hand over the species as well to them that they are wanting for their collection.
Right. So when you kind of go through the initial like contact to find out, like say, this is what our plan is, this is where we're going to do it, they'll let you know, like, oh, those ones are super common, like the kids can keep those, you don't have to turn them in, but these special things you do have to turn in.
They still want to know about it, and then yeah, I've sent in pictures so they know exactly what's going on, and then we get disposition paperwork basically releasing those to the kids for our collection, say it, or they get to keep them.
Okay, so what is this like magnificent specimen that I am holding and that is actually like really heavy?
Yeah, that is a large ammonite, so that is found a little further southwest on the Bear Paw Formation. If we found one of these in this area, this is like the ultimate jackpot. So yeah, that's a bit special. We find smaller ones that those end up heading to the museum as well. So yeah, that's a bit of a jackpot. So.
Great. Well, we did find some really great things today. Some of the kids made some wonderful discoveries. If this is something that you think that you and your family might be interested in, it is a great way to discover our beautiful province. Get out, enjoy some fresh air and nature, and have a lot of fun and learn something about like this amazing globe that we live on. So if you are interested, contact the Saskatchewan Museum first, find out what goes into it, and then happy hunting.
Happy hunting.
Well, thank you, John, so much for inviting us along. This has been such a tremendous day and such a great experience.
Our pleasure. Yeah, we had a lot of fun today. So we had a pile of kids and a lot of excitement, and we found a lot of things, and some of them will be going to the museum today.
Yeah, we're making history here.
Making history.
Yeah, right here on Punch TV. Well, thanks again.
All right, no worries.
Take care.
Punch TV is brought to you in part by Amazing Stories, providing Saskatoon with comics, games, toys, graphic novels, t-shirts, and more for over 22 years. Online at AmazingStoriesComics.com, in person on 8th Street in Saskatoon.
What's up, movie lovers? Craig Silliphant, the Movie Geek, coming at you for Punch TV from the Feedback Society studio. We're all about digging for fossils and other goodies today on Punch TV, so I decided to talk about movies that feature archaeology or treasure hunting. Now, there's a lot of bad movies in this genre, so be careful what bones and curses you're digging up. Tomb Raider, National Treasure, the Mummy series with Brendan Fraser, the Mummy movie with Tom Cruise, the Da Vinci Code, Sahara, all movies that in my opinion should stay buried. But I've unearthed a few gems that should give you something fun to watch. So grab your shovels and let's dig up the old blockbuster burial grounds. Ooh. Well, look, you can't talk about movies and archaeology without Indiana Jones, so we might as well start right there. In 1982, a little movie called Raiders of the Lost Ark introduced the character Indiana Jones, played by Harrison Ford, trying to find the Ark of the Covenant before the Nazis could use it to take over the world. It's not only a really fun, globe-trotting adventure with snakes and Nazi punching, but it's also considered one of the best written screenplays of all time. George Lucas and Steven Spielberg were inspired by the adventure serials they saw as kids. It blew the doors off the box office and created an international phenomenon. Raiders' success led to the sequel, which a lot of people don't realize is actually a prequel, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. It's dark and spooky. I was in grade 5 when I watched the terrifying Mola Ram pull out a guy's heart and show it to him. Om Nam Shiva, Om Nam Shiva, Om Nam Shiva. Om Nam Shiva, Om Nam Shiva, Om Nam. The original trilogy was capped off with Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, where Indy teams up with his father, played by Sean Connery, to once again beat the Nazis to a powerful religious relic, the Holy Grail. This one's a hoot, though a bit goofier than the first two films, but the father-son relationship at the heart of the movie is sweet, sad, and funny.
Those people are trying to kill us. I know, Dad! It's a new experience for me. Happens to me all the time.
Now, there was a fourth movie that takes place much later, something about crystal skulls with Shia LaBeouf, but we don't talk about that one. However, now they're working on Indiana Jones 5 that will hopefully be a swan song for Indy that washes the taste of crystal skulls out of everyone's collective minds, just like Crystal Pepsi. Either way, the Indiana Jones series had a slew of imitators, some better than others. You had Romancing the Stone, the King Solomon's Mines remake. Of course, actual archaeology involves fewer boulder traps, melting faces, and big golden statues, but that wouldn't really be any fun now, would it? Movies about archaeology have also been mined for horror. There are films like The Exorcist that deal with digging up troublesome demons. But this leads us to another set of classics, the Mummy films. As I said, not the Brendan Fraser Mummy films, but the originals. Boris Karloff's The Mummy from 1932 holds up today as an atmospheric spooker. The film's about an Egyptian mummy named Imhotep who's discovered by a team of archaeologists and brought back to life. The mummy searches for his lost love, who he believes has been reincarnated. It's an atmospheric affair that has been criticized in more recent years for disparaging Islam and depicting archaeology as a colonial endeavor. Believe it or not, The Mummy didn't have any official sequels, but there were tons of Mummy movies that followed, including The Mummy's Tomb, The Mummy's Ghost, even Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy. British horror studio Hammer Films also made a few Mummy films in the 50s and 60s. I think it's also informing movies like Stargate or any movie where you're digging through Egyptian tombs. We've talked about archaeology, but let's pivot into treasure hunting. That's a big genre in itself, but let's just look at a couple of my favorites. First, the classic Humphrey Bogart film, Treasure of the Sierra Madre. Directed by John Huston in 1948, based on a 1927 novel, it's the story of a group of men prospecting for gold and the kinds of violence and greed that can inspire. The Treasure of the Sierra Madre was one of the first Hollywood films to be shot on location outside the United States. While there are some great stories about the fights during the making of the movie, including the director grabbing Bogart's nose and twisting it, it did gangbuster business and was nominated for 5 Oscars, winning 3. And I've saved another fun treasure hunting movie for last, The Goonies. Spielberg appears on this list again, this time as producer in this Richard Donner film about kids who live in the Goondocks in Astoria, Oregon. They're about to lose their homes when they discover a treasure map from a 17th century pirate. Chased by criminals who also want the loot, they have the adventure of a lifetime. The cast features a young Sean Astin, Corey Feldman, Josh Brolin, as well as Ke-Huy Quan, who played Short Round in Temple of Doom. Kids love it, adults love it, it's a prime influence for Stranger Things. How can you go wrong? Anyway, I'm out of time, but I hope we sifted through enough film history and dug up something cool for you to check out. I'm Craig Silliphant, the Movie Geek for Punch TV, and remember, Goonies never say die.
How do fossils form? Not many plants and animals are lucky enough to be turned into fossils. There are several different ways that fossils are formed. Here are the 5 steps that form a mold and cast fossil. First, an animal dies and sinks to the sea floor. The soft parts of the animal rot away, leaving only a skeleton buried by sediment. The seafloor is an ideal place for fossilization, which is why many fossils are of marine animals. Over time, the skeleton continues to be buried as sediment accumulates around it on the seafloor. As the seafloor sinks, the pressures increase, turning lower sediment into hard rock. Completely buried and surrounded by stone, the bones are dissolved by seeping groundwater. This leaves a cavity preserving the shape of the bones and is called a natural mold. Over time, mineral-rich water seeps in and fills the mold. The minerals form a cast of the mold, keeping the shape of the skeleton, but none of its internal features. Millions of years later, the rock surrounding the mold rises to the surface, and wind and rain expose the fossil for us to find.
And there's also, I think, some other... Oh, baculite! Look at that!
Woo!
We've never found one like that here before. Look, you found a jackpot! You found your 10 minutes of dino hunting and you find a jackpot. Look at him. That's like a museum quality right there. Ooh, yeah. That should be going to the museum. You're going to go into history today, Luke. That's a part of the deal for us to be able to do that. We have to take it to the museum.
Okay, I'm here with Luke, who has made a discovery. What do you got in your hands here, buddy?
I think it's a fossil. I'm not sure, but...
It is definitely a fossil. If I had to guess, I would say that that's a brachiopod because it's got a little hinge there, so it's like a clam or an oyster or something like that. Have you ever eaten a clam or an oyster before?
No.
Would you?
Yeah.
Awesome. That is the adventuresome spirit that a good fossil hunter has to have. Is this your first time digging for fossils?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so you got the rookie luck. You've made a first discovery.
Yeah.
You at least have something to take home today.
Yeah,
That's pretty awesome. Okay, well, good luck. I hope you find more fossils today, and keep showing me what you get today, okay?
Okay.
Awesome.
See ya.
Thank you. Hey!
Do you know what kind of fossil this would be?
Oh, you know what? I'm not a super expert, but I would guess that this might be some kind of gastropod, just because it's all curled here. See how it's like curly? So it'd be like sort of like a snail or a creature like that, or it could be a creature that's more like a squid, and they would fill their cavities of their body up with water and then like shoot it out like a squirt gun, and that's how they would like move through the
So it
ocean.
would be like kind of like a water gun?
Exactly. Okay, I'm here with Oliver, who is the only person to discover a trilobite in Saskatchewan. Is that right? What the heck is a trilobite?
Well, it's like an underwater creature that like used to live underwater, but then like when they lived in an ocean, the ocean dried up and then they got covered in rock. But first it was really soft mud, and then when it dried up, it turned to rock.
So it's a fossil.
Yes.
What kind of creature is it? Like more like a clam, or is it more like a snail, or more like a fish? Or can you describe what this thing is?
Well, the only part that I got of it was its tail, but like it was the only creature. It was like one of the first creatures to have eyes.
Oh, so it could see stuff. That's cool. And you are the first person to actually locate one in Saskatchewan.
Well, I don't know, but I know that I'm the only one in the whole Dino Hunter gang.
Okay, that's bragging rights right there. That's pretty cool. So what do you hope to find today?
Probably another one.
Okay, so trilobite, we're on the hunt for you. Beware. Okay, cool. Let's go find some. All right, awesome. Thanks, Oliver.
Punch TV is brought to you in part by Amazing Stories, providing Saskatoon with comics, games, toys, graphic novels, t-shirts, and more for over 22 years. Online at AmazingStoriesComics.com. In person on 8th Street in Saskatoon.
Hello everyone out there in TV land, all of you punchers. It's me, Hank, and today on Tweetbeat, you will notice sitting beside me, this is not Tony. Where did Tony go? Where did Tony go?
I am not
don't
sure.
know. This is Mike Fisher from SAS Expo, Saskatoon. Mike, the expo is coming up right away.
2 weeks.
Fill us in, who's coming?
So, Marina Sturgis, Billy D. Williams.
Deanna Troy from Star Trek
Yes.
Next Generation.
Lando, you
Yes.
know, Michael Rooker's coming.
Oh, Walking Dead.
Walking Dead, Guardians of the Galaxy, Johnny Young Bosch, Black Power Ranger, and a ton of voice work, and then Caitlin Glass, who has also a ton of voice work. And a couple guys from Kim's Convenience, which I think is really cool.
Because of Mike, I started watching Kim's Convenience. It's awesome.
It's
So
great.
if you haven't checked it out, check it out right now. How many
Definitely.
seasons are out there?
I think there's three so far. The fourth is coming out early next year.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, SAS Expo, people can go to, where? The website?
SaskExpo.com has everything on there, but for interaction and sort of daily stuff, go to our Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter. Facebook is where most things happen, but we're hitting all the social media stuff.
With the sweet handle at SAS Expo.
Yes.
Now, you will see at the bottom of your screen, scrolling, everything I think you should be watching, reading, listening to, playing this month. But Mike, tell us, what are you watching this month?
I don't have tons of time, but I did sneak in. I watched The Family. It's called The Family. It's a documentary on Netflix about some of the behind-the-scenes power stuff in Capitol Hill and the religious right, which is really interesting. A bit depressing, but good. And then I just finished the Muhammad Ali documentary on HBO, which is great. And then I'm really looking forward to The Dark Crystal, and I'm looking forward to Carnival Row. I think
On
it's
Amazon.
on Amazon.
Amazon Prime.
Yes. These streaming services are killing me, but there's lots of good stuff coming out. So there's a few things I can't wait to dig into once the expo's over.
So Mike's a smart guy. He's always into the documentaries because he wants to learn. Me-
Sometimes.
Me, I just want to see things blow up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Speaking of which, Angel Has Fallen.
Oh,
Right?
Angel Has Fallen. You know that Gerard Butler back for number 3.
Yeah.
And
It was good.
he's still pretty good.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was fun for like a blow up action kind of movie. It was great.
It was a fun movie, and another one where I watched the screen and I just picture myself being him.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to go to see him, but I want to go to picture myself
To
being
be him. And I was like the guy that got killed in the first 30
Yeah,
seconds.
yeah, you were. But I think he should stop with that, trying to get rid of his accent. Like, we all know where you're from.
Yeah,
like,
just
just
have-
keep the accent.
yeah.
It adds to it.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
So much better.
Totally.
So much better. Anywho, everything you need to know about Sask Expo, go to @Sask Expo on all of the social media, or go to saskexpo.com for everything you should be watching, reading, listening to, playing. Follow @Hank and Kelso and @Shaw Punch TV. No, wait, we've now changed it because I bet you've heard Punch Radio.
Yes,
So we
it's
changed
exciting.
it all. So our new handle is
Punch YXE.
We'll see you next time on Tweet
Three
Beat.
beats on Punch.
I'm here with Luke and Cedric and Isaiah. We've been working up a pretty good sweat doing some fossil hunting. Did you find anything great today?
Yeah, I found.
Yes, I found a clam, I think.
Okay, cool.
And I also found like I feel like I found like a raptor's foot, or like, do you know like those dinosaurs that had wings?
Oh, like a pterodactyl.
No, like the ones that like had feathers.
Oh.
Those ones, like velociraptors. Yeah, those.
Well, I don't know if we found any velociraptors here, but you could. I mean, there are dinosaur bones that have been found in
I
Saskatchewan.
think I might have found a velociraptor like the side of its face, like the side of its skull right here, and also at my house, just randomly in the middle of the flower pile, I found a baby triceratops side of its face, like with the tooth inside of it.
Wow, that's cool, right in your backyard.
Just randomly there.
Cedric, what have you found in the past, or what did you find today?
So today I found a clam about like this big.
Cool.
And in the past,
my first time being here.
I found like in the middle of my yard, I found this like really long tooth, that long, this wide.
What? Is it real?
Yeah.
For sure, for real?
Yes.
All right. I am very naive and trusting. I'm going to believe you.
I feel like you're joking because your face is looking like.
Okay, if you believe that you found a tooth, then I believe that you found a tooth. How's that sound?
I believe it.
Okay, awesome. Luke, you got some really cool stuff today. Show us what you got.
So I found this just in a crack, and it's just like a.
That's a shell.
Yeah, it's just a whole. It's a full shell. So, and I just have a hole.
You got a whole hat full.
Yeah. So
I also found a bone like exactly like Luke's. Like it was broken out exactly like Luke's, and I'll show you it.
Dig that out.
Where is it? Why is it sticking in my pocket? Oh my God.
Now you're the only guy here who's got a hammer. So, okay, let's show that to the camera. It's a really cool shell, full on, 3-dimensional, not split in half, really groovy. What are you gonna do with that?
Probably use this, like, probably break this part off and make it into an arrowhead.
Okay.
Probably, like, cut this part off with rock cutter and then make it into an arrowhead.
Deadly. I wouldn't want to mess with you. You got spears and stuff. All right.
I seriously do have spears from the Indian Age and from Africa.
Okay, so you're like a hardcore rock collector. This is not new to you then.
Yeah, definitely not new.
I'm a
I also made a sword out of rock.
I'm a rock collector. I found lots of crystals in my yard, and that tooth, I thought it was a megalodon tooth.
And also I've made a wood sword.
Okay, so you will be well protected on your hunts then. Peyton, what did you find?
I smashed a rock and I found 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pieces of chunks everywhere that had fossils in them.
Okay, do you know what these fossils are?
No clue.
That's okay. They're really cool. They look like clams, right? Like what we know as clams today. Wow, they're so shiny and pretty.
Yeah.
So is this your first fossil hunt?
Yeah.
The rookies are having all the luck today so far. Luke found an ammonite. Amazing. It's so rare. And then this huge cluster that you just uncovered. That's really cool.
I found another little thing over here.
Ooh, what's that? Dig it out if you can. Oh yeah. These are more of your pieces that fell when you swung the hammer. So what kind of hammer do you use? What's that? Like a little sledgehammer? You want to grab that?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the tool of the trade. If you want to be a good fossil hunter, you have to be armed with a hammer of some kind. This is probably an excellent size because you can't do too much damage because you don't want to accidentally break something great, but you want to break the rock around the fossil. So that's.
I need to break this up a little bit because
It's pretty heavy, yeah. Now, some of this you can take home and keep, but some of this more rare stuff you have to turn into the museum. But that's pretty cool because it would have your name on it. You'll go down in history. Are you hoping to go down in history today?
Maybe.
I hope that you go down in history today. Awesome. Well, thank you, Peyton, for sharing your collection. This is amazing. Well, that wraps up another episode of Punch TV. What an awesome day. Thank you so much, John and Lily and all the gang, for including us in your special adventure. We found some really cool stuff. The sun was shining, the finds were amazing, and if we've inspired you, get involved with this hobby. All you got to do is contact the Saskatchewan Museum. They'll give you the rights and wrongs, the do's, the don'ts, and they'll even point you into some geographic locations that will help your adventure get underway. Thank you so much, Kathy, for mining through the precarious rocks to get our footage today. And this was an awesome, awesome adventure. Thanks for watching. Keep your dukes up.
Big smile. Big smile. Get in a bit.
Squish in.